In this second video on the book of Ruth, I've titled it Different Decisions, Different Results. You know, I talked about Ruth, the daughter-in-law of Naomi, going and staying with her, and she stayed with Ruth when the times were tough. And she was going to a foreign land, totally unfamiliar, but she stuck with Naomi. When you're moving into new territory, you know, with your church, with your business and in your life, are you stickability, or are you ready to abandon ship and throw everyone and everything out? And Ruth illustrates when leaders focus on what is right, God will bless their labours, and you're certainly going to see that. So it's responsibility before results. So let's have a look at the different decisions and different results in relation to Ruth and Orpah, the two daughters-in-law of Naomi. See, Ruth goes back with Naomi, eventually marries, and she and Boaz, who is her husband, have a son, and then they become the ancestors of King David, and later the Messiah, Jesus. So their history from one decision has an influence on mankind, well, forever. And Ruth is forever recorded in the family line of Jesus. And bear in mind, she was from a nation that wasn't part of the nation, a foreign nation she was from, but yet God changed all that to bring her in, and she became a key part of that. What about Orpah? Well, she's not really mentioned anymore in the Bible, but some pre-rabbinic Bible antiquities record she went back to her own people. And a lot of it does record her that she actually became almost a prostitute. She went back, and the armies which she came from, the people there were bigger people, giants, they're often referred to them. And she went back, and eventually a baby was born, a son, and his name was Goliath. And you see, with Naomi and Ruth, eventually King David is born, but this other side, Goliath is born, and King David kills Goliath and his brothers eventually. And you see, this book encourages to understand the result of our decisions. We go one direction or the other. And Orpah, her decision, we could understand. We probably would have done it. Let's go back to our people. Let's go back to what we understand and what we do. But going back is not always a great decision in business, in churches, in ministry. And we've got to see God at work in our lives, and we've got to be asking him. And, in my life, I'd always had this principle. I'm going to ask, I think God's leading me. I want 3 confirmations. So I didn't realise that was biblical until later on when I was preaching on Gideon, when I realised he asked 3 times. And in latter years of life, I've made some decisions that I didn't wait for 3 confirmations that I had in my mind to come. And I got into, wrong decisions and wrong areas that I had to really retract from and redo. So we need to understand that this book, Ruth, the book of Ruth, encourages us as the result of our decisions. We need to know their consequences, and we need to see God at work in our lives. And he was at work in Ruth and Naomi and eventually Boaz's life. And if God can use a poor woman or poor women like Naomi and Ruth, man, he can use us. He can take us. Didn't have much education, did you? Things haven't been going well, made some poor decisions. Well, God can turn that around, and he knows what things are needed in our life, and sometimes we've got to be prepared to step out as we feel he's leading us, and he will bring the things that will influence our life for the right direction. Are you willing to be open to God influencing and leading you in the direction you need to take? And who knows what the consequences are going to be for good.